Okay, it's recording. Alright, let's go ahead and start with the title.
Alright, take two. So,
Paul Revere's right.
Yeah. So what did you think of the title? Like, what was the first thing you thought of before you read?
I mean, being in a history class, I just thought, yeah, this is gonna be a patriotic one. That's all I could think of.
I didn't know who he was, so I kind of went in like with no knowledge. Yeah. Anything else?
I thought of. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought of like a horse and carriage, something like that.
At first, I didn't know like the first part with the landlord's tale, but I knew that Paul Revere had some sort of historical significance.
You know, I didn't get Landlord's Tale either. I kind of just.
Like, I knew it was like tales like a story, but I didn't get how Paul Revere is a story.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, perspective could make it a tale rep because it's not really just facts and this. You don't see any dates. You don't really see like any specific people mentioned other than him. And just some guy that's also there.
Yeah, that's true. Since it is a poem, it wasn't particularly nonfiction.
Do you think there are nonfiction poems? I think that would be cool to
Like, no.
I think we're getting off topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zach, state your thoughts.
For what, the landlord's tale?
You can skip to the first.
I thought the landlord's tale was just like a, like, what am I trying to say? It's like a head title.
Oh, okay.
They have a bunch of different stories, so that's like a book, and then they have
Oh, that would make sense.
Like a book of stories, yeah.
Okay.
a book of poems. It's a book of poems.
So,
Type thing.
I want to start with the first stanza. Go ahead and go to it.
Yeah.
listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive. Who remembers that famous day and year? I feel like I read that wrong.
No, you're right.
Yeah, no, this just an introduction. I don't see how any real symbolism could hide behind that.
I guess it could be like they're educating the youth on it because he's talking to
Yeah.
his children.
It's like only old people remember Paul Revere writing through town. Like young people are like, eh.
And it's probably like he's trying to keep the generations knowing like who this was because it was so important.
Right.
But we go to the second stanza.
Okay, so
He said to his friend, if the British march by the sea, the land or sea, from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the north church tower as a signal light. One if by land, and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm. Then he said, good night, and with muffled oar, silently rowed to the Charleston shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, there where swinging wide at her moorings lay, the Somerset British men of war, a phantom ship with each mast and spar across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide.
So for that one, like it just introduces like who he is, and then it kind of gives like a tone. Like at the very end, it's talking about like a phantom ship, and that just gave me like uneasy, like ominous.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we've got our main villain down. They're big, they're looming. And I like how it goes from top, like I feel like I'm censoring weird things, but like when I see it, I look at the paragraph and it goes from lantern and it looks like a bright yellow fading into black when I read this one.
Interesting.
Um,
And I think they're also introducing the British and
that guy.
the bad guys. Yeah, they're giving them a more ominous tone. Like when they were describing Paul Revere as more like a sunny, happier tone, and then when they describe the British, it's like darkness, scary Black Hulk, you know,
I think
phantom.
Prison Bar is really good.
Prison bars, yeah, like dark,
Okay.
ominous words.
Meanwhile, his friend through alley and street wanders and watches with eager ears, till in the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and measured tread of
Grenaders.
marching down to their boats on the shore. Okay.
That's pretty.
Is this the British his friends watch? This
That's
confused
because
me.
there's two people. There's Paul Revere and his friend.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
at
his-
his friend, but
Yeah.
what is his friend? Is his friend?
His friend is
watching?
on lookout,
Yeah.
so like he's
So-
seeing if the British are like.
Okay,
Come
then
on.
he climbed the tower of the Old North Church, so yeah, British. Definitely British. He would have done that if it was just.
They're on two different sides of the shore.
And this kind of just said like this is important, like this is the lives of people are at stake, so like this is an important job.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question is like, why would in the poem, like, why would his friend be added if in the title it's just talking about Paul Revere?
Maybe to like say that teamwork and working like in unity, and I think I'm not sure exactly when this is written, but like
maybe it's to draw attention, because like
Draw attention
Paul
to what,
Revere
though?
himself is well known, you know.
I mean,
But like
but
at the same time, no great leader type person does things alone.
But I think a big aspect of like America is working together and like because you know how like the North and the South, like a unity was a really big thing. So I think just maybe introducing another person,
Mm-hmm.
showing that they work together, and without his friend, Paul Revere wouldn't have known if the British were there or not. So like teamwork.
Introducing him would also be considered a shift, right? Because
He was introduced already earlier though.
yeah, but we didn't get to see his point of view on it. It was just
I
talking
think
about
it's just
really
his point of
funny.
view because.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else about the book?
Oh, like, I think so. Anything that I had, I think it was kind of short, but it was more about the friend himself and not Paul Revere.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, the next stanza.
Imagine if this is just a self-insert thing.
Then he climbed the tower of the Old North Church by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread, the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the sombre rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade. By the trembling ladder steep and tall to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town. And the moonlight flowing over all, beneath the churchyard lay the dead in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in a silence so deep and still that he could hear, like a santal's tread, the watching night wind as it went, creeping along from tent to tent and seeming to whisper, "All is well." A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead, for suddenly all his thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and flows on the rising tide like a bridge of boats.
Definitely another shift because this sounds like a witch's chant, especially with how you read
Yeah, that's actually really
it. It
interesting.
gets very darker,
Mm-hmm.
much darker. Well,
I just thought it was suspenseful because like in the very beginning it's like he's going up the stairs stealthily and then like talking about the pigeons, like it's like taking a while to get to the point and it's like suspenseful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like what adds this was to suspense is like the amount of energy that's in that first part, and then it begins to kind of talk about the dead in the last part,
Mm-hmm.
and like the British coming onto the bay and using this a simile at the very end of the line,
Yeah.
which adds into the suspense because you wouldn't want to see something of, guys, the British are on the river. What are we gonna do now?
said everything.
I mean, you're kind of
Put it
quiet.
earlier.
Do you have any thoughts?
But she already said it about the dead.
Okay, what about the dead?
Gives like a foreshadowing of that there's gonna be death and it's gonna cause death. People are gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing I picked up.
I find it interesting because, like, what was it? You know, like, in, probably shouldn't bring this, but in history, the British were not targeting the people, not really just weapons. But, sorry,
What's
no, in
up?
the real story, they go there to, like, seize weapons. They're not aiming to hurt people, just take the weapons.
Interesting.
We can move on to the next segment. Oh, sorry.
I was
sorry.
literally asking a question,
Oh,
but.
sorry. Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
Choked on some-
Oh, now.
No, go ahead, ask your
Okay.
question.
Sorry.
So, what do y'all think the simile of like the very last line relates to? Cause I'm kind of scared.
The rising tide
Yeah, like Bridget Boat.
and the river boats. I think it's like saying like something's about to happen.
I think it's like the silhouette of all the like, British soldiers and like they're moving up and down, so it's like a tire. That's what I thought of it. As.
Yeah, because they all got there and they're like, oh.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
This is an entire fleet. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like,
yeah, it's their
it's like
army.
people.
Oh, that's not really. I don't know that. I'm sorry. Alright, you can go to the next one.
Okay.
Do you guys still want to read them? Because I feel like you don't.
Yeah, I really don't have to.
Yeah, I don't.
Do
Alright.
you want me to read again?
No, it's
It
okay. We don't
doesn't
have to.
It's like we don't have to read in general.
Like if you need to bring up a quotation, we could say it. But
Okay.
I'm gonna read it real quick. I kind of forgot. Okay. I think just like the last one, there's a lot of imagery in this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
As he's walking, as Revere is walking through the villages and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is also the part where he sees his friend. Does a lantern come on? Yeah.
It's just back to Paul here.
I think this one's like one of the smaller ships in the poem. Well, I think every stanza is a shift because it goes between
Yeah,
his
'cause
friend and
it's-
Paul Revere.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
like not only that, but it's really moving from like high energy, bright stuff, and then back to the dark. This something is coming. People will get hurt, and then back to the bright. It's like, and yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
there was definitely like characterization in here because like it like painted Revere as like nervous of what's gonna happen, which is like I get why he's nervous. It's like a war.
Yeah.
But one thing was like I think it showed like heroes don't have to be perfect. Like he doesn't always have to be brave. He can get
Right,
nervous.
the average Joe hero that gets
Yeah.
introduced during this
Yeah.
period of writing in America.
That's good.
Yeah.
It also said that he, mostly he watched with an eager search.
Yeah.
What do you think he's searching for?
The light.
The
lantern.
lanterns.
The lanterns?
Really? Oh, never mind. Sorry. Takes me a minute.
I also think it brings about like a sense of like hurriedness or worrisome because in the like a hurry of hoofs in the village street, pebbles in passing the spark,
Mm-hmm.
flying fearless and fleet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's rushing to
Yeah.
get to his goal.
I think that's the way it was like meant to be read as well. Like when you and Annika were reading, y'all were reading it like it
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't anything slow,
Right.
which like you had said before adds into the suspense of the entire poem. So
And there's alliteration in here, like the flying, fearless, and fleet, and that could be
Right.
like you're supposed to read that fast, so it's like
Yeah.
adds up to the pace.
Flying fearlessly, yeah.
yeah, I think
So, Sorry,
Oh.
I was just
oh you're good. I think like we're talking about like the pace and whatnot and like the reading. It's because it was all happening at one time. Like the stances may be broken up, but that's because, like as we said, the shift goes from one person to the
Right.
next. But looking at it from its whole entire poem, this is all gonna happen in one time. His ride leads up to this one moment.
Mhm.
The genuinely feels like watching it, like, you know how anime gets split into episodes, but it's all something that happens in less than an hour. It's one fight. That's what this feels like.
Mhm.
And then, like, the last 3 lines, it just describes how this event was so important that if you go to that same place, you'll hear the fast-paced environment, the horse, and, like, everything. And it just shows how important it is.
I think we can go to the next
3.
Yeah, 3. Not
Okay,
15 minutes to
so-
count.
Yeah, the next 3 are pretty short.
Yeah, I think it's as simple as he's riding through the village, y'all. You know, I mean, that's like the overview of
Yeah.
it. But
I feel like it shows that it's a little bit like slower than what just happened. 12:1:2. But
Mhm.
then
Yeah,
it's
because we're, like, going through his perspective, like,
He's
it might be
passing through.
fast-paced to us, but this is probably, like, so long in his head, like, he's gotta hurry up and tell everybody and, like, let everybody know what's happening.
yeah.
yeah, I think that goes into like the average Joe hero character, you know, by showing that he has his own emotions. Like he's feeling nervous in his time,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which breaks up the time by like the hour, and everything has such harsh description within such few lines, unlike the other things that led up to that moment.
Right. And it's like very calm
No.
until the last one.
No,
I don't
No, it's-
I don't think it's calm. I mean,
because he's dashing through town. He's trying to get these. No, the people have to get up here. No.
yeah, but I think there's a couple of words that make it seem not calm. You know?
So I feel like, because there are a lot of, there's crowing, there's barking,
Yeah.
and like, so there's ominous, and then there's a bunch of loud sounds going off.
Yeah.
And then
Blank
next
bear
one by
stood
one.
against the bloody word to look upon.
Yeah,
I
by
think-
one, it's like, oh, right, we're in battle. By 3 people are getting shot.
Yeah, by 3 people are getting shot.
Where did you get calm from?
The first, that first paragraph, and then leading up to the second paragraph, to the end of the second paragraph, and the third paragraph is very dark. Because people are getting shot. Like, people are sleeping and people are getting shot. There's a contrast.
Alright, are you ready to do
Oh,
the last 2?
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. I think
Did you have a problem figuring out the
like the calm as that you're putting into it is maybe Paul Revere is kind of like a tunnel vision of some sort.
Are we getting a cameo? Come on.
No, are we like recording ourselves?
Yes.
It's for class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come back.
Anyways, that this was more maybe like his tunnel vision because you see it was a moment at the end that there were descriptions of everything else outside of him, but his only focus was getting the people to safety.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you mean by, I wouldn't say calm is the exact right word.
Right.
I think maybe like nervousness and like it would more be like a tunnel vision kind of situation within those 3 stanzas.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine doing all this in that heavy powdered wig and all that get up.
Right?
What?
Because like back then they'd be wearing powdered
Lots
wigs.
of layers of clothing.
Okay.
I think that's really fun to watch.
It's
That
cold
was
tonight. I
fancy.
think this is this up north?
No.
This is in Massachusetts, so it is
Yeah, that's
cold.
up north. So maybe the clothes make it bearable.
And then they say, you know the rest. Why do you think they just cut it off there? It's like, why didn't they go
Because
into
it's
more?
like, it's
Because everyone
History.
knows about the
Yeah, the rest
actual
is
war.
more taught in American history and
Yeah, let's
got
see.
more into it.
This was the shot heard around the world. After this starts, we already know America wins. So,
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, maybe that's what they were like, yeah, it's a spoiler.
I know that this is where I wrote down my shift. Like this is the main shift right here
Mm-hmm.
because even though it's the narrator talking the entire time as if it was a book, this is as if like in Christmas movies you go back
Oh, yeah.
out and they're actually like the kid and like whoever is actually reading the book together,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk to each other with dialogue. It's
Isn't
kind of the
this
same
like-
situation.
I haven't. No. Wait.
So that's why I wrote down my shit at least.
Yeah.
I know that.
Right. Yeah. That's
Um,
completely understandable.
what did I say for this though? Yeah, and then like the common story, as he was saying in that first line of the stanza that we're on, but he still goes down like throughout the rest and reads, well,
Yeah, he
describes
just-
what happened.
just
He gives a brief
reiterates
summary
how
of it.
cool Paul Revere is.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what gives Paul Revere fame, so there's no need to
No
put in
need to keep
detail what
going.
happened.
Yeah. What?
Is that it for that stanza?
Did you guys?
What?
What do you guys think? The same was.
I kind of forgot.
Well, we have another stanza.
Yeah, there's one more.
Oh, true that.
So there's like repetition in this one. So it's like slip through the night and slip through the night. Shows how it's important. And what I thought was interesting is that a cry of defiance and not of fear. So it just shows like these people weren't scared of the British. They just wanted to like be their own people and like
Right.
get away from that. monarch.
There's some confidence in there. These people weren't like, they weren't weak people. They were
Okay, we can go
Oh,
back.
Nubo.
What?
Oh, next one. Is that not
Oh.
the next?
I didn't know who was talking about. I didn't know we moved on to the next one.
Oh.
We gotta finish it. We gotta write this one up. You know.
My brain is all over the place. I want to go home.
And it says, "In a word that shall echo forevermore," and like do those like lines through all our history to the last. It just shows like patriotism, like when the country is in need, the people will be there to listen and like help.
Yeah, and I thought that was also an allusion to the shot heard around the world or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Because it said that it shall echo forevermore.
That makes sense.
Alright. So I guess to kind of wrap this up with the question, how do y'all think the first few, not even a few, first few, but most of the stanzas in the beginning, and then after, because I don't have any more paper. This is the stanza after that says, "You know the rest." How do those two sections connect to each other?
Wait, I'm sorry. What about the first?
Okay,
Okay, how does
the
shift connect to the what?
yeah, let's just connect to the stanzas before.
The like most significant shift or what? which
The
one?
last one right at the end,
Yeah,
where it's
like-
back to the present.
Oh, okay, that one.
Spoiler alert, you guys know what happens. I feel like it really drives the point home that this is in fact a real life event. This
Mhm.
isn't just a tale. It is this guy telling you what happened. And also like am I having a stroke? The last one. What the
Last
heck? I just
Last
lost it
stanza?
completely.
I think it also adds significance to the poem as well. And, like, this is not just something that you read and then, like this adds significance.
Yeah, no, it's gone. I can't find it in my brain.
But it's okay. I think what you had said, Adams, with that you said that it's not just a tale, but then the title, it says it's a tale. So how does that correlate with each other?
That's not. Is that right?
Oh.
Because this is definitely, I definitely consider this end bit situational irony. If like the people, because Paul Revere doesn't go into this battle knowing he's gonna win. But as this person's telling you, it's like, hey, we won.
Because it's
You all know the people in this at the moment do not. That's definitely situational irony. But I don't know how the title would be. I don't know if the title is ironic.
I would say that it is kind of ironic because
But
a
then it's
tale
also kind
would
of-
represent like that it's fictional, right? But this is something that actually happened.
What you gonna say?
So-
Yes, you
Nothing.
did.
I would say it has
Take your time. Let's start.
situational irony for that.
Good discussion, guys.
Yeah,
Already
good
recording.
discussion. We're so good at talking.
Did you,
Did you guys want to say a theme? Or
themes?
Yeah, themes.
What did y'all-
You guys mentioned teamwork. That was a theme, right?
that's a topic.
Oh, okay.
Theme is like a lesson.
I said the themes to take action and protect those, protect other people.
That's valid.
Just
Mine's
the
like,
background.
I said that actions make reactions.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I'll explain that one.
I don't think I can say mine better.
You can elaborate a little bit. Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that?
In the first part, obviously, with the storytelling, with their game plan of Paul Revere and his friend, and then as the British firstly start to come in,
Mm-hmm.
that's when he starts making the lantern, and everyone starts planning, but thinking, I guess, more or less outside of the poem. Like, why did Paul Revere's ride happen? Like, what were the actions that led up to his ride? So that's what I was thinking for the theme, at least.
It's a big one.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, for my theme, I said determination, bravery, and loyalty play big roles in the outcome of important situations. But I think you guys have better themes because I was kind of like, I was doing more broad. I don't know. It was,
Your
yeah,
themes are supposed to be broad.
yeah, but like,
Repeat your theme, please.
She said determination.
bravery and loyalty play big roles in the outcome of important situations. We're like, which I guess is kind of like actions lead to like. What was I said?
Like you see true colors in times of distress. Feels like my brain keeps leaving the room.
I get what you mean though, like, because, you know, the British were coming on over, that led them, like I was saying with this tunnel vision earlier, they began focused on one theme, which was known as Paul Revere's Rock.
Did you have a theme?
No.
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
That was the thing.
All right. Wait, let's stop this recording. Because it's probably like 10 minutes.
Yeah, guys,